So, my friends, we are again on the Saturday's journey. Who am I? We suffer from, it is known as the root ignorance. So, it is clear in the first metaphor there is a pure consciousness, there is a sun, and then there is a reflected sun, which is a moonlight. And that reflected consciousness is what we say I. We suffer from the root ignorance since our birth. Our parents, culture, society, education teaches us this is you are. Look at this, you are crazy. Look at this, you are doing good. Look at this, now the time to marry. They never say this is the time to divorce. Reflected consciousness is the job. And because of the reflected consciousness, we create the world around us. What is that world? I'm rich and poor, I'm good and bad, I'm frustrated and stressed. See, this I is going to relate itself to the things, object, situation, condition. And then the life starts the series of experiences. Series of experiences. Every experience I subjectively identify as me and mine, anywhere and everywhere. Today is very hot, not hot because of you. There is a universal, there is a universe that continues. Today is hot, tomorrow it will be hot, next year it will be hot. It doesn't wait for you. But we wait for it. Now the summer is coming, the cold is coming. It is all a play of the reflected consciousness, not of the pure consciousness. You have to just become aware. This is the way the life is. Would you love that you like a hot weather? Okay, for example, and there is a monotonous hot weather all the day, all the time, for the last 50 years. Will you love it? Look at it. This is reflected consciousness which is observing all the time. I don't see what lies within me behind that reflected consciousness. I don't see what lies behind the moonlight. What lies behind the moonlight. I just wake up in the morning and something happened and I get stressed. Oh, this is, enough is enough. Really? This universe is tolerating you for so long? Does the universe say enough is enough? No, that is totally different, I'm a different guy. That is your reflected consciousness. We have to get rid of it. This is what the mool, we say the mool avidya, that is, we say, the root of ignorance. I want the entire world to follow me. I don't like hot, so let there be a cold. And if there's an extreme rain, this is too much. I want, you see that I want. Without knowing who am I? Without knowing who. See that? Living with a person for so many years, and then I say enough is enough. Really? Are we a special person in the scheme of the entire universe? So that reflected consciousness causes the ignorance. That was the first metaphor. You see, understand this consciousness, the reflected consciousness, and the way it perceives through the five sense organs in the mind based on likes and dislikes, based on my preferences. So I create millions of I. So I find already a duality, a multiple personality in me. When I go inside, go outside into the world, some people will say you are bad, and other people will say good. We always want to be near with those people who appreciate me. I created a world. I create a world from moment to moment. It is not one day affair. Continuous movement of this reflected consciousness, which is known as the ego, and I am, then that, those impressions lives in the mind and creates a personality. That personality is not the real I. And then I see a lot of people. I see there are multiple consciousnesses as an individual level. Oh, I don't see the original one. I don't see the original. That is the root ignorance. Root ignorance. And then I also see the world is constantly changing. The way the reflected consciousness is superimposed on the real self, the same way the world consciousness is also superimposed on the supreme consciousness at the macro and the micro level. This is what we have been trying to understand. And once, how do you remove the superimposition? The best example given in our tradition, the snake is superimposed on the rope. Is there really a snake? When I see in the light, where the snake is gone. Where the snake is gone. Same way. When I see the real self, wow, oh, it's a wow moment. Oh, where all my conflict has gone, where my ignorance has gone. It is gone completely. It is not there. So what is left? That cannot be destroyed. That is the journey of who am I. Master says the truth cannot be destroyed. It is present, ever, it is ever present. It is timelessness. And that is what we say meditation. You can close your eyes and you can say, let me go to the timelessness. Now, without understanding the ignorance, you cannot enter into the state of the timelessness. Well, those preferences will continue to burn us. Continue to burn us. It is not going to leave us at all. So that is why, Upanishad says, Asato ma satgamaya, move from the false to the real. And they defined what is false, what is ignorance. That which appears, but it is not. It exists in between the real and the unreal. Unreal is non-existence, and real is ever existent. Real is independent, false is dependent on the real. Snake is dependent on the rope. My stress, my anxiety, my duality, my conflict, my preferences all depends on, because if there is no consciousness, how can you recognize it? How we say we live in ignorance? Because we recognize these preferences. We don't say first, let me understand who am I? Hot weather. Who experiences the hot and the cold? Body. How? Mind. And the sense organ, sense of touch. But if I am the sense organ, then I can take it. Yes, you are experiencing hot. That you is the reflected consciousness. Look at it. So if you say it is a practice, yeah, I have to live consciously all the time. Yes, I should express this is hot and this is cold, everything is okay. But it should not identify with the false I. I should take care. I should take care, if it's very hot or cold. Yeah, I should take care. So whom I'm taking care, I'm taking care of the body, not I. So you see, root ignorance, I am the body. We come to the conclusion, I am the body. That is the first level of ignorance. And the moment I claim that I am the body, then I'm related to you. The moment you say I'm a teacher, obviously your body, first you claim that I am the body, then I claim that I am the body, then you claim that here is also an individual identified with the body, then the teacher and the student becomes. Otherwise, there is no teacher and there is no student, there is only one consciousness. We divide the space on the earth as my house and your house. And then the third level of this ignorance continues throughout our life. And throughout our life, we continue to suffer. And then we start blaming and complaining. So last session, we understood that this ignorance has two factors. How the ignorance takes place, how the process of ignorance takes place. Once we understand how the process of ignorance takes place, it becomes easy for us to drop that ignorance. Remember, I discussed, ignorance is bliss, ignorance is not bliss. As long as I do not know it is an ignorance, it is bliss. Obviously, it is bliss. My daughter-in-law was saying to me that we have been working remotely from home, and her immediate boss, she is a woman, and she is, so when you see that she is working remotely from her home, the python, a small python, constantly moves around her neck. She showed me the video. She recorded. And I said, look at this, what kind of an ignorance. Animal that python doesn't know. You see, I love animals, and one day, what happens? So we are carrying the python around our neck all the time. That python is ignorance. It looks like, so how good is, So now what is your observation? Your observation is that, see, she is very daring. You will come to know daring, one day. So at present, the ignorance is this. You're saying, look at this, Dad. And now see also that she is also very scared of the snakes. So my reflected consciousness perceives differently. So why we perceive the same event differently, it happens because of the ignorance has two factors. Ignorance has two factors because the reflected consciousness creates two factors. One is the projection. It projects. So that projection is the snake over the rope. It is my experience. I have seen it. I have seen it. Power of ignorance. One thing to understand here, the way we have a power of knowledge, The same way we have also the power of ignorance. Means the capacity. So when I live in ignorance, that ignorance expresses itself into two powers all the time. And from where it comes? It comes from reflected consciousness. Let me give you an example to make you understand why we get attracted to this reflected consciousness. It becomes very clear to you. The sun is reflected on a mirror. That mirror is the mind or the I. One, and now it reflects the sunlight on the wall. We are going slowly. Repeating again and understand. One is the sun, the source, real self. Then we have a mind or the I. There the sunlight is reflected. So then there is a reflected sunlight. So we have an original sunlight. Now there is a reflected sunlight. Clear? Clear. Say yes, clear. Not very deep, not very complex to understand. Was there not a sunlight on the wall? Yes, it was already there. That's why I see the sunlight. But now there is an extra light. What is that? That is the reflected sunlight. Clear? Now tell me whether the reflected sunlight is brighter than the original sunlight. Are you getting it? I'm repeating again. Understand that clear. Sun, real self. Medium, mind. Or you can say the ego. And then it reflects the sunlight on the wall. Clear. Was there not a sunlight on the wall? Yes, there was a sunlight. That's why I recognized the sunlight on the wall. But now there is another reflected sunlight which is brighter than the original. Are you clear? Say yes. That reflected sunlight, because it is brighter, it is stronger as though it appears, and that is what the ego is. And in the brighter sunlight, we see the likes and dislikes. In the original sunlight, there is no likes, there is no hot and cold. It's all a matter of awareness. On the brighter sunlight, that is the snake on the rope. Brighter sunlight, that is, I am. I'm fed up with you. I love you. I like you. I dislike you. I reject you. There's a brighter sunlight. Are you getting it? It's a brighter reflected sunlight. It is not the original light. In the presence of the consciousness, which converts into reflected consciousness, which is I, that sees, I like you, I hate you. There, as such, it is not. Remove the mirror. What happens? Remove the mirror. Are you getting it? Remove the mirror. We are getting deeper and deeper. So what remains? I still recognize the sunlight. In the presence of the sunlight, I still recognize the wall, but the brighter side, that brighter sunlight is what we say the life is a series of experiences, my friends. I told you, this teacher is extraordinary. He gives those metaphors to make us understand. But why I say that reflected sunlight is a brighter, that's how I recognize you. I say I like you, but I forget the consciousness behind. Do you see that? That's why I recognize. It is good to recognize that he's my honey, she's my honey, he's my kids, and it's okay. This is my house, it's okay. That much is okay. That is not causing any problem. Whereas me, and here you are. Come on. Me and you. I divided it. So the two consciousnesses took birth. You see, one layer of ignorance causes multiple layers of the ignorance. One superimposition, second superimposition, third superimposition, millions and millions. That's why it is taking time to reach to that state. We have to understand each and every factor. Where? In the intellect. But if the intellect is already projecting its opinion, its preferences based on the past impressions, so still the traces, sometimes you block the mirror, but somewhere, some area is left, and it still poses a threat to understand that reality. That is why we say purified mind can alone awaken to that real self. A slight area is left. Maybe that is giving me a sense of pleasure. Maybe that is giving me a sense of pain. That is how we express. Everything is okay, but now I'm done with this guy, enough. I have seen him and her for so many years. Still is left. I don't have the traces of that anxiety and reaction, but it's okay. Now I'm not interested. So, slit righteous, purified mind. Understand that. Understand that. That is causing the problem. That again pulls us to live into the ignorance. Ignorance, root cause of the ignorance. Reflected consciousness is the I, which I give the status of the I, and that I starts perceiving the world through its own perception, and that causes a ignorance. Ignorance is a great power. But in the presence of the knowledge, that power dispels, dissolves. We don't know where it is gone. I hate this guy. What happens in deep sleep? Do you still hate? You will not be able to sleep. And the guy you hate, he is enjoying his sleep. He has no impression at all. Or you love, or so-called you are attached. You are still disturbed. That guy is still, oh, you are attached. It's okay. I appreciate it. Both are living in ignorance. This is what we have to understand. Understand that reflect consciousness a very brighter spot in our life. And that is how we have been living day and day, night. And you want to solve the problem. Say, for example, of a hatred with a person. We are not talking of morality or ethical discipline. You have to be kind to others. We are not talking of a religion. We want to see how these preferences, the brighter spot, changes my way of thinking, way of living. That is causing the ignorance in me. Think. We have to think. That is why Master says, I told you, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. I hate someone. Why? Why? Because I don't like him. Why you don't like? Then the next question comes, are you born with the likes and dislikes? No. Why you're liking and disliking? What is the cause of it? It's a non-thinking. No, it's not thinking. I thought I thought for 10 years and I realized that, now I cannot be with this guy. 10 years you were thinking in ignorance. Are you getting it? 10 years. What a great guy we are. We have been thinking of likes and dislikes for 10 years. That is our conclusion. But I did not recognize that I'm not born with the likes and dislikes. I'm not born with extracting the joy and the sorrow from anything, any object in the world. That is the root ignorance. I have already projected my way of likes and dislikes, pleasure and the pain. Think, think. One has to think. We have reached to that state by from this master that we need to understand this. Two great powers of the ignorance. One is the power to hide what is real. And the second power, the moment it hides, then it has to show something. So what it shows the projected reality. Are you not, we are not a human being? Yes, we are a human being. So you appreciate me, my projection starts. Oh, this guy seems to be better than others. Projection starts by default. Oh, this guy hates me, disapproves. Ha, projection starts. So first, it hides. Ignorance hides the real self. I told you, brighter sunlight, because it is reflected sunlight, hides the normal sunlight. Are you seeing? Real, that sun light is already there. That's why I'm aware of the wall. So that hides behind the reflected sunlight. In front of me, there is a bright sunlight, bright light, electric light. Is the sunlight not there? Yes, it is there. But why you have done this? To just give a lesson. Look at this, just to give a lesson. But if I take this light is the real light, I'm gone. Projection, hiding. What is hidden? Real light. That is why we define pause that exist in between real and the unreal. That real means it is ever present. Don't overstretch the metaphor. What happens in the darkness? Metaphor means that these metaphors are approximately equal to the masses we are conveying. It is not exactly equal. So that our mind can reflect on it and it can extract the reality. Power of concealing and power of projection. If the concealing is not there, projection is not there. If the projection is not there, we will recognize what is hidden behind it. Pay attention. Let me pay attention to the reflected sunlight, the brighter spot on the wall, from where it is coming. From where it is coming. So I recognize still there is a light. Whether the brightest spot is there or not. Because in the same wall, there are areas of the brighter sunlight, but there are areas which is normal. So which is normal, it has a very, or you can say that brighter spot, that reflected consciousness, that I is reduced to minimum just for working, just for giving the class. Finished. Otherwise, you live into the same consciousness all the time. Look at it, my friends. This is the way our teachers have done so much of work. That's why we should be grateful. The knowledge is still intact. Einstein has gone, the knowledge is still intact. Edison has gone, the knowledge is still intact. We should be grateful to all the people who have passed on this knowledge. Think of this. It's not a big deal, provided you contemplate and reflect in your life, you live consciously. You not live by the experiences, because every experience has one projection or the other, and every experience hides the real self. Why do you say all the experiences takes place in the mind? Mind is a reflected medium. Not a big deal. But we sit down, contemplate and reflect. Do we find a normal spot? Yes, I find that consciousness is ever present behind the likes and dislikes, behind the pain and the pleasure, behind, behind, behind that, what happened? Oh, light. I, I believe that it should work. चला गया यार ये फिर. Just a minute. I have a laptop has. Just a minute. This is all a projection.
सर आपकी आवाज तो आ रही है और पिक्चर भी आ रही है.
नहीं, मेरा लैपटॉप का बैटरी
अच्छा अच्छा ओके.
हाँ खत्म हो गया. I see the laptop is there. Yes. This is also a. This is also. Yes, you don't see me now, you will see me. Yes. So this is also the power of concealing and power of projection, power of concealing and power of. Yes, I got it. You know, these machines have their own way of working. Now, yeah, it will continue. I thought that I have to shut down. So, power of willing and power of projection. Now, you see very deep inside what exactly is the ignorance. We don't leave it as it is ignorance. And we will go further deep. That do we have something more to say about the power of concealing and the power of projection? Yes, we will go deeper. And this master takes us to the journey where we reach and we see clearly. When you see clearly, then what happens? Yes, it is working. You see, the mind has to project, if it isn't working or not. It has to work for the sake of convenience. Let it work. But don't forget the original consciousness. You see, you will find an example, you will find those events in your life which can help us evolve. We are not ready to evolve because the mind is impure. You see? Because the impurity of the mind lives in non-thinking status. It takes the thing as it is because of the past impressions, and then the journey continues. Journey continues. What do you mean by journey continues? We continue to think, speak, and act every day, every week, every month, every year for 50 years, and then say, I have 50 years of experience. No, you have repeated the same ignorant experiences again and again and expecting a different result. Not possible. Not possible at all. How it is possible? You're repeating the same thing. Can you guess who has been repeating the same experiences again and again and again? All the animals. Do you say I'm the animal? No, no, I'm not saying that you are the animal. I'm just making a point. What is the difference between the difference between me as a human being and the other animals? I should not repeat. I should learn from each and every experience. What happens to the aging lion when they are not able to catch the prey? Physical maturity they have reached, they have no opportunity to have a mental maturity. They die. They are removed from the herd. In their young age, that lion was the master of his herd. As the aging process begins, the second lion takes over the herd, throws. That lion was, he used to catch the prey and he was the first to eat. And now, so that simply explains our ignorance. We have a free intellect. This is not a religious curtain dogma session. Think. So that simply also explains what it explains. If I use the word God, God says you have a right to earn the wealth, but I have a right. I reserve the right that whether you should be in peace or not, depending on what exactly how you respond to the wealth you have and how you respond to the situation. Do you see? If I use the word God, yes, you make a self effort. I was listening to the ad, what is known as uh, sleep number one. You know, that mattress cost about $2,000, something like that. So God says, yes, you can have it, but I reserve the right whether you get to sleep or not. I reserve that. You get married, you have a right. But whether the happiness is there in the married life or not, I reserve the right. That I is the real I. You see everywhere, in every of your experiences. I used to laugh in the moment I remember, he reserves the right to be that I should be in peace and happiness. Let me find him. Let me find him with the humility. Let me find him with the knowledge. Let me love that real self instead of loving my reflected consciousness. Do you see that? So emotions also plays a role. Not only the knowledge, but that emotion, that pure emotion has two elements, right knowledge and dispassion. Dispassion from the reflected sunlight, I told you, a brighter spot. What is the brighter spot? Likes and dislikes, hate and the love, duality of the country. Look at this master, the way he guides us. Don't we be grateful to that master who took so much of pain to explain it? Not for himself, he already knows it. He knows it is his contribution. Close your eyes, my friends. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Pay attention, live consciously. Eyes are closed. I want to get rid of what? Brighter spot on the wall, which is reflected sunlight. What is the brighter spot? I feel comfortable. I feel uncomfortable. Even while sitting, you are uncomfortable. Ego is very strong. You see, when you recognize that, you move into the comfort. Yes, the primary step, you can say the primitive step is I have been telling you. Yes, look at the neck joint, be there, feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. What is that sensation, comfort? That is also an experience. Did you ever question that why I have to go through it again and again, the same sensation, same comfort, same steadiness? Oh, I have never thought like this. You have an intellect, you can think of this. But even having that, having said that, I lose that comfort while living my life. Oh, I gave too much of importance to the brighter light on the wall. Brighter light on the wall means on the surface of the life. I don't see there is already a light. And that is the problem. We have all have suffered, my friends. Pay attention to that. Simply paying attention to that, you go away from the brighter spot. What is that moment? That is the moment of dispassion. How it came? It came from the discernment. That is the whole idea of closing the eyes. And what we do? I close my eyes, I start squeezing the eyes. And I say, I'm very normal. No, I'm not saying that we are abnormal. Why we are abnormal? Because of hiding power of the ignorance and because of the hiding power means veiling power and the projection. What is that projection? Projection is the discomfort, is the brighter spot. And we love the brighter spot. Why we love the brighter spot? Go on questioning. This is a contemplative meditation. That is why it is a non-practice. I have a desire to know my real self. Desire to know the real self always takes place by contemplation and reflection. Desire to earn wealth, I have to make a self-effort because I don't have it. Desire to know the real self, it is already within me. I am the real self. And then I start the journey to the self-discovery. Pay attention, my friends. Paying a constant, continued attention, that is why we need the purity of the mind. I'm just making you clear. I'm joining all the dots. So when you reflect with all the dots with you in your mind, in your intellect, what happens? Brighter spot dissolves. And you say, I'm already comfortable. I was comfortable. I am comfortable. I continue to be in the comfort state. Finished. Being comfortable 24/7 in the waking state is what? Being comfortable simply means you have recognized that light, all pervading. You have not at the same time that brighter spot has become a utility only for the sake of convenience. I'm speaking to you. Did I disturb that consciousness? Answer is no. Can I disturb that? Yes. By claiming, look at me, I'm a teacher, you are a seeker. Then what happens? Another projection comes. Because you are a student, so you are at a lower level and I'm at the higher level. Again, go on projecting. And there will be millions of projections, and we are lost there. What is that being lost? Ignorance. This is what we discussed today. Oh, this is what we discussed today. Look at it. You need not to do anything. While I am already there, what I am. Whether the mirror is there or not, whether the light is reflected or not, I am. Can I say, I know I am not? I cannot say. Even if you say that I know that I am not, proves that you are. That is why you said I am not. My friends, this is so easy. It's a play and a fun in our life. Look at now, again, go to, for the sake of understanding the step being carefree. You have already understood. You see, I start the journey of anyone being comfortable and being carefree. But because your mind takes it, oh, this is the way you make me carefree and comfortable. So you are happy with that. You are not dissatisfied with that little knowledge. No, no, no. I want to know from where this comfort and being carefree comes. Then we are a seeker. It is all a contemplation and reflection. So what I said in being carefree, I know you will recall thoughts are coming and going. You simply witness. So I don't see the real self in passing and entering of the thoughts. No, there you have not to see the one who is a witness is the real self. What do you mean? The way who is witnessing at a distance that the thoughts are coming and going. So where there we need a little more explanation. I said lane one, unwanted thoughts are coming, and unwanted, welcome thoughts, they come and go. That is the lane one. Lane two is the intellect and the I thought. Now that the same reflected consciousness is recognizing, it is not recognizing the brighter spot. Brighter spot are the thoughts and the feeling and the emotions. That's why you say, I got disturbed today in meditation. I had a lot of thoughts. So you pay attention there. Oh yes, but in the lane two means I'm simply aware, I'm a witness, I'm a knower. Oh, so what happens the moment you are a knower of that bright spot which says I have these thoughts coming and going, and that's why I got disturbed, another projection, and that is why it is happening because of the past association with some object in a situation. You see, I'm explaining only being carefree. If you have missed being comfortable all the time, so I said, okay, let us go to being carefree. Oh yes, yes, my intellect has been thinking, so it is always concentrating the brighter spot again and again, again and again, again and again, wrongly, by projection, by concealing. And that is the way we live our life. That is the way. But at the same time, what happens? The false I lives in the lane two, and the real I lives in the lane three. That is how I have been explaining at a surface level in other sessions. So do you think that I hide something? I have an intention to carry on the journey? No, that is not the case. Case is totally different. Knowledge has to be realized in stages. So now, what is the interpretation? Lane one is the world outside, the entire world. Lane two is that reflected consciousness or the mind or the intellect. It is now pure. So in the pure state, what it says, now let me know from where the brightest part is there. It is happening in the presence of the light. Which presence? Which is the lane three? Not very complex. Yeah, I've been doing it. Oh, do you mean to say that realize the lane three? Yes, for the sake of understanding. Exactly that lane three is all pervading. Then ask your mind, do I need to do anything? Do I need to practice anything? Answer is no. Why? I'm the real self. How long it takes me to reach to your home? I have to cover time and the space, time and the distance. Depending on the time and the distance, how long I have to reach to myself, I'm already there. The moment you have a notion, you have a thought, you have an awareness, I am, that very I am you are. No, no, I did not understand. The false I and the real I are mixed up. Again, the mind says how to recognize that. So easy, that false I keeps on changing. Real I never changes. In the presence of the sunlight, I could see the wall, but now I could see the wall in a brighter spot. Brighter sunlight plus the sunlight. I'm not able to distinguish between the two. Why? Ignorance. Why? Again, I'm coming back. Why? Concealing power of the ignorance and projecting power of the ignorance. Who told you that you're a husband or your wife or you are a divorcee or so called, lot of stuff in the world outside. Who told you? Can you say any constitutional difference? You were not rich and now you are rich. Any constitutional difference? You are beautiful or you are not. Constitutional difference. Are you really different in essence? Answer is no. I am different in projection. See, my friends, I am different in, there is a difference in projection. Don't you see that I am a woman? I'm a woman of substance. That is a projection. Be easy. You force yourself, that I, the false I, will start projecting. The journey of this self-discovery, because you have been continuing the journey, it gives me a great strength to talk of these simple, easy principles to talk about. Comfort, always there. Carefree, always there. Why I recognize that light on the wall belongs to me, and the brighter spot belongs to the false eye. But why it has become a brighter spot? Because of the likes and dislikes, because of the joy and the sorrow, because of the pain and but why? I have given a value to it. But why? Because I claim I am the body and the mind complex. You see the journey? Why? 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 No, I don't have time to contemplate and think. Means what? I'm already, I'm enjoying my ignorance. How simple it is, my friends. In extreme pain, that consciousness doesn't change. In extreme pleasure, that consciousness is ever present. In extreme likes and dislikes, these are the brighter spots. Without consciousness, I do not have an experience of extreme pain and the pleasure. That does not change. You see, the real I and the false I, they get mixed up. Why they get mixed up? Because I don't know. What do you mean by I don't know? That is ignorance. What is this ignorance? Ignorance has two factors the willing power or the concealing power, and does your mind recall the projection? Can I get rid of the projection and the willing power all the time in my daily living? Answer is no. It has a positive side. It helps me to live. It is a matter of convenience it offers. It helps me to recognize me as a personal, professional, social level. That will continue. But now I recognize the real I. So this false I does not have any control over me. That is the meaning of awakening. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences, bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, reflection, please share with us. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, thank you. It was it's becoming very clear that this ignorance exists and it's the root of all the problems. However, it's also an opportunity to become aware, contemplate and reflect, and is necessary for us to be able to evolve and transcend the mind. And I'm recognize that more and more each week, to be able to reflect on that ignorance of what's the triggers, what's making it happen, what's making it feel, and because of that awareness and the quickness to apply the tools that you've provided us over the years is becoming less and less, and feeling that sense of transcending. And every time we close our eyes and continue through, whether it's a practice or non-practice, it's just so settling to me. And I'm just in peace and calm more times than not. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is very important, as you reflected, to recognize the ignorance is to just move into the knowledge. That much is done. But the moment I recognize that ignorance, which is a projecting part, becoming angry, getting agitated, have a strong likes and dislikes, and so on. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good, thank you. I find these Saturday sessions extremely powerful, and leave them with lots of contemplation and reflection. And this week, there's, I would say, even more of that. So the relationship between consciousness and reflected consciousness is going to be perforated, whatever. It's going to be what's that? Perforating for the whole day. My meditation was extremely deep, extremely simple. I had no competing challenges or anything going on, so it was wonderful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. Once we recognize that, a recognition between the false I and the real, false I will never go away. But now the role of the false I is not of an authority. It is just there, I recognize you and you recognize me by name and the shape and the profession, everything. But they do not cause any problem. You see that they do not cause any problem. What problem caused? Oh, David is doing so much. Why? Because of a non-thinking. Because he is allowed to do that thing. He chose that field. That we don't recognize. That there with the projection and the hiding power comes. Beautiful. Yeah, how are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. That meditation was really great, deep, calm, no distractions, and I love the just the play with chasing and getting attached to something that is constantly changing, or are we attached to what's not ever changing and just bringing that with us to the changing? So because oftentimes we want more of what we like, and of course we want less of what's painful. But if we pay attention to those painful things or those fights or those triggers, then it's an opportunity, like Stephen said, to go, oh, that's ignorant. And what do I do about that?
Yes, yes. The moment I recognize, that's why I specifically named it as a brighter spot. Because the mind, where it pays the attention, I have to check. There are two consciousnesses. There is two I. One is the real I, and other is the false I. False I aggravates that. And it continues the cycle of likes and dislikes. Beautiful reflection. Thank you, Jerry. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good, thank you. And I think it is good to have another metaphor of a brighter spot that he presented today to have another way to look at and examine our ignorance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
To better understand what exactly it is and how to defeat it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes I have a feeling, especially in Saturday's meditation, that I'm getting to understand something on a deeper level.
Beautiful.
Something that it cannot be precisely explained by the words, but there's a feeling that there's a deeper understanding and a bit of satisfaction coming along with it.
Beautiful.
And today was one of these days.
Beautiful, Dennis. Your questions are dissolving, but keep on asking the questions. We have no issue at all. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. Today was one of those Saturdays where the lesson was simple for me, but maybe not all that easy to apply, which just lets me know I need to keep doing the work, right? Keep contemplating, keep coming back to like, okay, what are the projections? What's happening here?
Yes, yes, yes. That's a beautiful way. You know, every time I wake up in the morning and say, mind, come on, where are you projecting? Just ask, think like this. What you are projecting today? What projection you have for me today? And the mind says, I hate that guy. Okay, this is the projection, and the hatred goes away. You see, that is what you have been sharing, the experiences. That is a deeper experience. But now you leave the pure consciousness, the real I aside, and now brighter spot. I hate that guy. So who becomes an important? That person whom I hate becomes an important. I lose myself. You see how simple it is and how complex it is. It is not so simple. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, namaste. Good, sir. Nothing to say. It was a good experience. Calm and peace. That's it.
Very good. Good. You have to listen to it again and contemplate and reflect. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, mine was calm, easy, peaceful.
Yeah. Beautiful. You see what exactly this master is saying, that follow their thought process. So there comes an element of the faith, and the faith comes, it is not a blind faith, the faith pending inquiry. So that pending inquiry is an element of what we say the contemplation and reflection. So there is a natural, I need not to say that there is a discernment and dispassion. You recognize brighter spot, you already recognize it is because of the reflected sunlight. It is not because of the original light. So when you have already recognized it, that is the meaning the knowledge is realized. When the knowledge is realized, you say, thank you, I can get rid of this brighter sunlight, brighter light at any moment of time. But the normal light, you cannot get rid of it. You cannot get rid of it. You put all the curtain into your room and still the light is outside, the sunlight is there. That consciousness is still there. That is all. Thank you very much. We'll
Thank you,
meet
sir.
on Monday.
Namaste,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Terry.